Hello, everybody. Happy Friday again. We're in the middle of April. Again, I will comment every single week how fast every single month I am experiencing is going by. For another Friday Mom at Home episode with a two special guests, actually. Well, one very special guest, and then another one, a very dear colleague and friend of mine, Jillian Harrington, is going to be our host today, so that'll be fun. But more about our special guest. We have the very amazing, very talented, very energetic, full of energy, just like a lightning bolt out of the sky, Tiffany Christopher, singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. She uses the technology out there to create a one-woman band, layering, looping, and so much more. But she has gone well above beyond just amazing audiences with this looping technology. She's also recently helping the Museum of Making Music out with our educational virtual tour field trip program. And I'm going to let Jillian and Tiffany talk much more about that. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday afternoon. It's a beautiful day in Southern California and wherever you happen to be, Tiffany. How are you? Welcome to Mom at Home.
Hi.
How's everybody today?
I'm good. How are you,
Good.
Jill?
Doing good.
Yay.
Doing good.
I'm going to turn it over to you.
All
So
right.
let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
BJ.
Thank you, BJ. So Tiffany and I go back quite a few years. I think maybe 5 or 6. I mean, at least. We met at a NAMM show in Nashville, I believe. And my job was to help prepare speakers for this speaking sessions. And speakers typically show up, need a speaking mic and their PowerPoint, and that's it.
Oh.
And Tiff rolls up with all the gear, including a bass drum, guitar, pedals, and I'm like, good grief, what is this girl up to?
You're like, oh no.
Here we go. But she walks over, and I instantly felt this energy from Tiff that's hard to explain. It's a little chaotic, but at the same time, it's calming. It's professional, but yet it's like we're old friends. And I was instantly drawn into your world, and I'm just excited to have you here today. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, and that's nice to hear about our initial meeting. I didn't really know what I'm usually a lot to take at first if I'm rolling in hot, like last minute. So yes, thanks.
It started a friendship and a relationship with the museum, and I'm proud to know you. So
thanks. I feel the same way.
Thank you. So I wanted to start at the beginning. How did you get involved in music making? I think you called yourself a traditional band geek, but I wanted to kind of hear from you how you got your start in the world of music making.
My dad played guitar around the house when I was a kid. He's a horse trainer by trade, but also played in a country band before I was born. And so influenced by a yellow Fender Telecaster and big super reverb amp, Fender super reverb amp. And Dad would play like Johnny B. Good and Charlie Brown and some Tom T. Hall tunes and Emmylou Harris. And so just tons of old country tunes was really the first step into music. And then when I was in 5th grade, I started playing drums in concert band and got in choir in 7th grade and did that all through high school and kept playing guitar. So just started at a young age and was definitely the traditional band geek. I didn't play sports in high school, but I instead was in marching band and jazz choir and all the things. Yeah.
And then how did you become a professional? How did you make it your job?
I don't know. It's still kind of like a mystery to like from one day to the next. I went to college, community college. So I got my associate degree and it was a music conservatory. I got to spend a lot of hours to focus specifically on how to become a working musician and music theory and choir and jazz band and solo jazz lit. So I got a good, well-rounded education. And they also taught classes literally like, hey, you're going to get out of school and all you really have under your belt after your bachelor's would be a classical piano degree. What are you going to do with that other than play at JCPenney? And so the school I went to really helped us have a broad sense and stay kind of true to, okay, you play piano and you sing classical voice, but can you sing jazz tunes? So you can go sit in front of a jazz quartet at lounges and actually make some bucks on the side on the weekends. So that's how I first started gigging, was singing in front of like different jazz ensembles. When I moved from Iowa to Missouri after college, that's where I started singing in front of jazz ensembles and quartets and just a jazz guitar player, and then started playing my acoustic original music out, which then drew people that became backing band, and then we toured in support of my original music. So it stemmed from singing jazz, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I also read that one of your mission is to spark each individual's creative fire and unify us through music, movement, and laughter, which I think describe you very well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your philosophy as a musician and as a creator?
Yeah, that's funny that quote. I came up with that at a yoga retreat in Costa Rica. They were asking us to try and define what our goal was with the 3 weeks that we were down there, and also think about how we could apply it to our lives when we get back into the States. And that was what I came up with. So that's funny that I don't even know where you pulled that from, but I
think it was like a Taos, one of the newspaper in Taos, New Mexico.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's a really neat article.
Yeah. Taos is so fun. I always have a good time playing in that town. My goal is to free people up inside and get movement going, not only with the mind and the heart, which happens when we listen to music, but our spirits, but also get the bodies moving, because it's all one. And also create, hopefully forward movement with what we're doing as individuals in our culture and society. So this last year, I think my goal has gotten a little more refined towards wanting to create awareness and of social injustices, and help us all feel as one. I think when music really does that, it levels the playing field, especially when, like for me, I feel like I'm a multi-genre artist and genre bending. And so a lot of different people come to listen to me sing and play, which you can look around and see all the diversification. And that's truly important to me. So yeah, movement.
I love that. I mean, your genre is so unique. You've kind of described it as alternative brand of folk rock, but as I've seen and as we'll show you, there's a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of everything. So how did you find your own unique sound?
Still looking, still trying to figure it out. Definitely, it's always evolving. I think, like I said, the jazz background in college, and then I was so inspired in 5th grade. My mother and my sister, I think I was like, when my older sister was like at track after high school, and I'd get off the bus and I'd like sneak up to her room and put like Madonna, the Immaculate Collection on her stereo and just like bounce around the room. And yes, totally. Holiday. I think they realized that I needed my own stereo. And so Christmas time, they got me like Patty Griffin, Living with Ghosts, Indigo Girls, DiFranco, Jim Morrison, American Prayer, Carole King, Tapestry. Just really, they made some choices on what they felt like would be a good influence for me. And I'm getting a little off track. What was the question again? This happens from time to time.
Just your unique sound, but it sounds like you did find that from influences, and then as well as you're reflecting on your own excitement and desire.
Yeah, like my dad, I grew up listening to old country songs, and the story is ingrained in me. The importance of telling a story. So you've got the storytelling country with all the artists that I just mentioned, and then jazz in college. And I love hip hop. I like deep thick grooves. That's why I like to play the kick drum and have like an octave on my guitar. So we're just so lucky to be influenced by, we can listen to things from so long ago and to I mean, everybody's putting out, pardon me.
I'm surprised you made it 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it's amazing that I did a kid video in itself without being like, whoops. Spotify is, you can upload something like from your house onto Spotify. So being able to find playlists on Spotify and Pandora, there's so many new artists, and everyone's I feel like we're all just like little melting pots for what we're exposed to. So it's really even hard to say where it came from and where it's going. I'm inspired by so much. It's good.
That's good. And then I think you pass that, those inspire you, but you're so great at passing that on to your audience as well. So
it keeps it fresh for sure,
Yeah, absolutely. So you branded yourself as this one woman band, which I think has gotten this great little catchphrase, but I want to know a little bit more about where that came from, who came up with it, and how that's going.
That's funny. I haven't thought about all these little stories in a while. So I was playing solo. I'd play with a looper a little bit, but mainly just play an acoustic show. And then I always, for bigger shows, would have a band. When I lived in Arkansas and Missouri, it's pretty much out of college, I would have a backing band. And I think like drummers kept not showing up for the gigs, or isn't that just, issues with the drummer? So. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Testament right there. So just needing, I think I had a really big gig and the drummer was sick, and randomly my parents were visiting me, and I was like, what am I going to do? And my mom's in the back seat and I'm like venting, and she's like, well, I've seen you play the kick drum and the hi-hat while you play guitar and sing. I'm like, yeah, but my hi-hat stand's a piece of poo, and it was just making excuses. I'm like, I can't do that on stage. I've never done that before. And she's like, take the money that you'd pay the drummer and go get a better hi-hat stand, and then go do it. I think you can do it. So that night I played with an upright bass player, and then I did the thing that for years now I've been doing with a kick and a hi-hat. And then I played guitar and sang, and that was the beginning of it all, really. I found Mumford & Sons. I was looking up a song, Little Lion Man, and I couldn't figure out what the tuning was on it, because I was trying to figure, I knew it was an alternate tuning, but I couldn't figure it out. So I looked up their music video online and realized then he was playing a kick drum while singing the lead and playing the guitar. And I was like, oh, like mind totally blown. That was really the beginning of it all, for sure.
That's really cool.
Those two little pivotal moments.
And another part of it, I think, for you is looping, obviously. So pretending our audience has no idea what looping is, can you explain how this process works?
Yeah, it's like recording live. So if I was sitting in a studio and I was like, if I kicked the button, I hit the record button now, it's recording, and then I hit it again. Now it's going to play back what I initially recorded. So it takes, like, you push a button with your foot, or it could be with your hands, and you begin recording, and then it begins playback of the recorded material once you hit the button again. So you've got like 100% of whatever you recorded. So it's like recording live, and then you can like keep putting layers on it. And sometimes with really awesome loopers, is what they call the machines, you can take the parts in and out so they're independent of each other, or you can just stack tracks so you make this big thick arrangement. Looping.
What's the most of layers you've done at one time?
Oh, I don't even know. It's probably when I've been like jamming out at a gig, and just it gets a little muddy if you just keep going without thinking about where they're sitting in the frequency spectrum. So I don't know, I've probably done like 10, 15 layers at a time.
Mind if I butt in here? Let me just comment here, because I love this.
Go for it.
Everybody knows I'm a drummer, and I tried out a looper one time, and it taught me how terrible my internal sense of metronome was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go practice more, because it just you nail it right on the spot. And to master that, it just takes a whole level of internal tempo and internal metronomes. I'm like, I'm terrible at this thing, and I gotta practice now. So that's my one caveat. It's like, if you think a looper's easy, no, I mean it takes some work especially to incorporate it into your rig like that.
Yeah,
it's a whole new level. So it's so cool. And then what you've done with it, I'm going to let you guys continue to talk about, but I just wanted to comment on behalf of all the...
Did you try and do it when you were drumming? Like,
I picked up somebody's guitar, and I know one chord, so I was like, oh, this looks cool. Let me try it. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh no, you take this instrument away from me, because Not for me. Not for me. So
Because I was going to say it's really hard even now if a drummer doesn't have in-ears and if he's not used to like listening to a loop, it's really easy on stage for the drummer and my little loop to drift apart. So I still haven't really mastered playing with a drummer. I think now I'm starting to use Ableton Live in the push 2, so things are getting more electronic, and I'm probably gonna have a computer on stage soon, and things will change. And that way, like this little in-ear system I have here, the drummer can actually be getting the click of whatever I'm setting my loop to, and we can all kind of be on the same page discreetly.
Awesome.
I think that's where everything's kind of headed. But another thing, just for beginners, it's a lot of loopers have guides. Like you can set it up to where you decide like what tempo you want it, and it'll either have like a metronome or like that you can practice looping to. So it could be tricky when you're trying to just do it all on your own, but you can also use guides to get started. So don't let BJ steer you away from it.
No. I just wanted to jump in and say I have mad respect for anybody who tackles a looper. So what you're doing, more props. So I'm gonna leave now. Bye.
Well, I think this would be a good time we have a video of Tiff playing. It's called Scat, and I'll let you set it up a little bit, Tiff, and then we'll watch it.
Hot pants. Okay, go. That's all I got.
That's all. Now I have to remember which video number I put it on.
I love this one. We're all next to each
other. That's not it.
Nope.
There we go. Next one. There we go.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Drop the bass.
There's my hot pants. Yeah, I really think we should just hang out here, you guys.
I love it.
So I just looped the guitar, and now I used an octave to loop the bass. Now I'm tapping on my guitar to make it sound like the drums.
And the tapping is just
some backup vocals.
It's so close to each other that it makes it sound like a cool little side crossing stick.
Yeah. Well, the rake is the snare, the backbeat, and then this is the kick. So there's a lot of different sounds you can get out of it. I haven't watched this video in a while. Oh yeah, now you got like the stanky lead guitar over the top. That's why I'm making that face.
This is my favorite part when you bring in. Watch this happen.
Give me a little bit of the secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I lost that tambourine. I wonder what happened.
Oh yeah, TC in the house. Let me be a bird, a bee, a honey bee, just another apple blossom in the tree. Something that lasts indefinitely, like love and superstition. Wanna hit me down deep, down to the core. Of course, you know that's the only way. Do things in this spot. Show me this, show me how to do that. Show me how to be a martyr, chuck it up to a bread.
Good for the lungs, right?
You know, but skills. They don't pay the bills. Skills won't pay that freaking phone bill. Still, geez, you want another, please. Every most acquiescent pill. So you just give me the surface of a deeper connection. Shipping his brilliance is the evening sun. The relationship between us, only a fraction of the babyish and mysterious plan of that film. Give a girl a break.
I kind of miss my bangs.
Yeah.
It was a great day when I realized live on stage, actually. I was like, oh, I can set down the guitar. I don't have to play the guitar while I'm doing this. I was trying to like play the guitar with the loop and rap, and then I was like, wait a second.
You need a sunny park.
Yeah,
you need a sunny park where you could just lie around. You're gonna lie around, you let the whole damn time go by. But you know, baby, it's so dark in here. It's so dark in here because of everybody's fear. It's dark in here.
Wow.
Thanks, BJ.
That's so cool.
That's
so
wonderful.
Cool.
I have a question from one of our viewers about looping. Did looping technology get its start with the original Echoplex machines from the 50s, 60s, and 70s?
Yes, it's that's the dealio. I do believe I actually got to play around with one in Chicago a handful of years ago. And I think that like really looping, it was derived from delay. So the echoplex was just a way, like a tape delay, I believe. And yeah, if you stretch out a delay far enough, it is a looper. So that's where it all came from, was us realizing the power of delay.
We all should realize the power of delay.
Sounds like something in a yoga class.
Right?
The power
Delay.
of delay. Why do today what we can do tomorrow?
Exactly. So let's talk a little about songwriting. You told me that songwriting for you is very cathartic. And so I'm wondering how much of your lyrics come from life experiences, or where does that come from for you?
Cathartic, life. It comes from life. We're all experiencing this roller coaster called life. And whether I am vicariously experiencing something through someone else, seeing my friends struggle, or just even the world, my personal struggles, I definitely at a young age, as soon as I started learning guitar, I think I was learning like Glycerine by Bush, you know, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I just 2 minutes later was writing my own words to it, like, and that was the beginning of it all. I think I always was like waxing poetic in English class, so I'm a lyricist, and at a young age learned the value of telling a story. So I think it's all kind of wrapped up into that. But usually when I'm writing, I'm coming to the piano, or this isn't usually my like instrument of choice to write from unless I'm traveling, but go to the instrument because I need to express something that's inside, and somehow finding some sounds, you know, that help whatever the words are, whatever the feelings are, kind of come to fruition, and they come out. So that's usually the process, is I find my way to an instrument, allow that to set like a vibe, and the vibe helps me release through words and through melody.
Do you typically write on guitar first, or?
Yeah, that's just been my instrument, my main instrument all these years. It's the one that's usually with me, and I write on the ukulele too. I shouldn't knock this thing, you know, it's got a lot of diversity, just like the guitar. I've written a lot of songs on this just because I've been traveling. I wrote a few songs on the Camino de Santiago, and I took a ukulele with me, and they ended up being some of the bigger songs on my latest album. So sometimes I think we can get really heady as musicians, and like, oh, I gotta like make up a chord that nobody's heard before, and like do like 7/4, and then I'm gonna write some lyrics to that really mean something. And by that time you're just like, you know. So sometimes just getting really simple, and you know, playing like the ukulele, you could shred it up, but usually it's a pretty simple instrument. And the same goes for piano. I studied jazz keys in college, and then I didn't really play piano for quite a few years. So all the tricks and dexterity went out the door, but I still remember it. And when I write on the keys, it's from a more simple way. Kind of gets back to the idea of like Dylan, you know, Bob Dylan, or all these musicians that write from 3 chords, and it's really about the story and the effect that it has on the generations.
Do you like working, like you said, co-creation is something you like, co-creating, working with other musicians in that process as well?
Totally. I don't get the opportunity as much. I'm just a strong do-it-yourselfer, and obviously the last year I've been hiding out in my house here.
We all have.
Yeah. But I find myself drawn to certain artists when I'm traveling. I'm just like blown away, whether they're just somebody at a party that I was at after a show, and they're like, oh, I just work at AutoZone and that's it. And I'm like, wow. So I learn their tunes and learn a song of theirs and expand on it and then send it back to them. Or like right now I'm working with a keyboard player here in Denver, and we're just sending stuff back and forth. I've got a little bit more of a electronic danceable kind of like, I don't know, Pink meets Prince meets me sort of thing. So I hit I hit plateaus sometimes where I'll be like vibing out and I'll build this groove up, and then I'll be like, and now what? And so sending it to BT is good because he loves making synth sounds, and he just takes it to another level that I hadn't thought of, and then that inspires me to take the arrangement farther. So
Yeah.
and I've got a song. It's called "Bird of Prey." It's a friend of mine wrote the lyrics, and she literally was driving in her car coming down to record with me in the studio, and she gets in these flows, and she like turned her voice memo on, and you could just hear like the car just in the background, and she's like, baby, oh, take me away from all this pain. So she came up with that, and by the time she got to the house, I had already like taken that voice memo, flown it in, written a bass part, put the drums to it. So one of my all-time ways to co-create with folks is to produce. I love producing, trying to keep things simple. I think coming from where I have playing drums, playing all these instruments, being a songwriter, serving the song, and trying to keep stuff out of the way through the years. Because it's really easy to overproduce an album or overproduce live music to where the essence of the story is getting diluted. So when I work with others, I like to just play that game of like, yes, that's a great idea. Let's put it in. Okay, let's take it back out. It's just like, what's the least we can do for the most amount of impact? So
I like that. Yeah.
Space.
I wanted to listen to another piece of yours. I think this is the official music video for Somewhere Behind the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little background story, I think, on the making of this video.
Yeah, this is the song. This is the first track on my latest album. The album's called Tremendous Heart, and Somewhere Behind the Sun was written walking the Camino de Santiago. And when you walk the Camino in Spain, you walk west every day. And we did the whole thing from Saint Jean Pied de Port in the Pyrenees in France all the way to Santiago, Spain, to the coast. It was over 500 miles, and we walked it in 42 days, and meeting all these people on the journey that are there for spiritual reasons, or like, they're just, and you see them for a couple days, and then you won't see them for a week and a half, and maybe you never see them again. It was like a little mini life inside our life. And this is the song that came out of it. And so you're walking west every day, seeking these answers and on this pilgrimage. So the answers must have been behind the sun, because we were all walking west. So that's,
Cool.
Somewhere behind the sun.
Let this wine come on us. Let the smoke carry my heavy load. This is one big scary world. We got no place better to go. Let my dreams take me out to sea. I will let my heart guide me home. This is one big wide world. Sometimes all you can do is run. Tell me who's got you under their thumb. Who has bought and sold all your bones? How are we gonna get out of this one? The answers are there for you, somewhere behind the sun. Somewhere behind the sun. Come with me now. Say vale, vale. Come on, mira, mira. Oh, vale, vale, vale. Shake it, mira, mira. Take me somewhere, to be somewhere behind the sun. Take me somewhere behind. I believe there is something big that is on the way, that we unite us and the peace to all the nation. Like a beacon in the night and shine for you and me. Make my mama sing, yeah, yeah. Come on.
Awesome. That's so cool. So groovy.
Yeah, that turned out great. From a ukulele, like on a trip to that humongous arrangement with the big parade drums and everything. It's pretty cool.
So cool.
And then how did you said the video came to be in a crazy way?
Yeah, that music video. I was playing a gig in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and these two guys came in at the very end, and they looked super hip and not from where we lived. And they're like, hey, they're like, oh my God, we saw your poster at this other venue, but we weren't going to be here tomorrow. And we're like, oh, I wish I could see that chick here. And so we went out to a different bar, and here you are. And they're like, we're here for a short film festival, and do you know any cool places to like go use our drone? And I told them, oh yeah, like out towards the pecan orchards. That's where you start, like if you watch through the whole music video, see some really cool shots with the drone. And I was like, yeah, go out there. And I have a show out of town tomorrow, but maybe our paths will cross again. And then they reached out like the next day. They're like, do you want to make a music video? Because these shots we're doing are so cool, and you should come down. And I was like 2.5 hours away playing a show. And it was like till 1:30 in the morning. And then I slept in my van, which is as per usual, and slept in my van, left at like 6 in the morning and drove back down. And then I had a gig at like 5 o'clock that night in the city where those guys were. So like in that window of time, I rolled back in. I'm just like, and thank God a friend was there to like with some makeup and a couple dresses and stuff. And we shot that music video like in 4 hours.
Gosh,
it was insane. I can't believe we pulled it off. And then it was all for free. The guys, I met them. It was so random that I somehow squeezed it in between my schedule. They were just inspired because of the place that I mentioned that was so beautiful out there. They were like, oh, we have to do something bigger than just these shots. So yeah. And they were from Chicago. So they were only there like that day that we shot the music video and the day that I met them, and then they left and edited it and sent it to me. And I was like, holy shit, like, oh, there's another nickel in this way.
It's like synergy. That's some good synergy there.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
Do you guys still keep in touch?
I'm on their newsletter, and it's most viz, like visible, like VIS, mostvis.com. You can check their stuff out.
That's a really cool story.
Yeah, they were a cool direct. They were probably the best team I've worked with. They just had their stuff together and worked well together. And they both had, the cinematographer and director was one guy, the producer was the other, and they just really knew what they were doing. So it was fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, over the past year, you've also dived into video production. I saw a really cool video you did for NAMM's Believe in Music Week using loopers.
Yeah.
And then I watched some of your online stuff. There was like a promo video where everyone appeared like half naked, inviting people to a show. And then there was another one where you did like a fashion show showing off your merch. And then there was one of you like as a fox, for voting the ballot fox. I mean, there's a whole.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You really have dug deep.
I dug. But you recently partnered with us, the museum, to do a project, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But I'm just curious what got you started in this new medium.
Film feels like the modern day art form. And again, it's a very powerful way to tell a story. Mm-hmm. And it's super fun. It's become another passion of mine. I invested a bit in a little camera and a lens, and got some lights. And I guess I was inspired because I was realizing I'm so picky when it comes to shooting live videos or music videos that very rarely, like, I'll spend a bunch of money and then we have a bunch to be, really not that much, but cram it into like a short amount of time. I might be underprepared. I'm not happy with my performance. And then now I have to spend money to edit the whole thing. And it was just all this outsourcing. And then because I am a bit of a control freak, and I felt like I needed time in front of the camera to get comfortable. So it was an instinctual thing to be like, okay, I'm going to get a camera. I'm going to have a bigger space to like this is a big studio space in my house, and I'm gonna figure this out. And in doing so, I started to get, I don't know, kind of good at doing the one person show.
It's like one woman band to a one woman film.
There is something to be said for a great team, and I think you just got to get your hands dirty and figure stuff out, and then learn how to hand off those responsibilities to people that are equipped and even better than you are at those specific things. So I'm not afraid of a good team.
Yeah.
It's just finding people that are dedicated, and also finding the funding to be able to support those people has been the tricky part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're lucky to have benefited from your newfound passion. We've been talking for
great.
years about collaborating, and it was kind of the right time. So we are starting our virtual field trip program here at the museum. This will be a digital program that students and teachers can access from home or from school via Zoom, or they can download the videos. We have a tour of the museum, as well as these kind of auxiliary units that explore science, technology, engineering, and math. And so we partnered with TIFF to work on a video on the language of music, which teaches kids about basic music concepts. And so, like she said, she produced, directed, starred, and edited this entire video, her one-woman studio. So I'm going to share a little bit about this. This video is called The Language of Music, and it's designed for kids grades 1 through 5. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to share a little clip of it so you guys can get a taste of her video production.
Cool.
And you have to let us know where you came up with all the props and everything you use in this video, because they're amazing.
Hey y'all, Tiff Chris here. Nice to meet you. I'm a full-time musician, and I've toured around the world recording and performing my original songs. Today, I am here to begin you on the magical journey that is the language of music. It's super easy and fun. Take it away, team. It's time to dance, get my feet on the ground. If you want to speak music, understanding these 3 basic ideas will get you off to a great start. Tempo, pitch, and harmony. Let's start with number 1. Tempo. According to the Webster Dictionary, tempo is the speed at which a passage of music is or should be played. You can play slow or fast, and anywhere in between. So tempo tells us how fast or slow to play the song. For tempo to work, it's important to learn how to play a steady beat, like a clock or a train. A steady beat is fun to dance to, and others can easily play along because everybody's tick-tocking together. Now, music is counting. Literally, if you can count to 4, you got this. Let's practice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah! To demonstrate how to read and write rhythm, we are going to use my midday snack, an apple, in a bowl. Okay, I'm going to draw 2 lines. The space in between these 2 lines is called a measure. Let's pretend the measure is the bowl. Inside the bowl is the whole apple, and inside the measure is the whole note. Now, if I cut the apple in half, I have 2 halves of an apple. If I cut the whole note in half, I have 2 half notes. Looks like this. Still with me? All right. If we cut the apples in half again, we have 4 pieces of an apple, or quarters of the original apple. If we cut the half notes in half again, we now have quarter notes. Another way to think of this is $1. 4 quarters equals $1. If we cut the apples in half again, we now have the perfect little vehicles for peanut butter. And we have 8 pieces of an apple. If we cut the quarter notes in half again, we now have 8th notes. Mind blown.
I see. I see why what we were waiting for.
I love the mind blown.
I just love it. It's going to be, I just can't wait for the kids to use it and teachers to have it in their classroom. And one of my colleagues said that maybe if someone had taught music like that to her when she was a kid, she would have been more excited and stuck with it. So I like to think that you'll be inspiring a next generation.
That's good to know. I mean, music and harmonizing and understanding rhythm is like, I mean, it has a molecular effect on us. It's, yeah. So
well, this last year's been like absolutely bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A.
What has kept you busy and sane and
I don't know. I think we've hit the nail on the head there. Geez, what has kept me sane? There's been a lot of crazy stuff that's happened, honestly. Just keeps rolling on in. I think working out and geez, I don't even know. I've been reading a little more, starting to enjoy books, like in a bigger way.
Were you listening to a lot of music?
I guess no, not really. Like I do listen to music and jam out in the car, but I think more audiobooks and probably just spending more time without music the last year, because touring and recording, and it's been such a huge part of my life. I think that having a reprieve sometimes, even from the things we love the most, is good for us. So
yeah, kind of to quiet down a little bit. Yeah,
a little more space. And I was doing a lot of live streams in the beginning, which was awesome to stay connected to people because they were locked inside their house. So I felt like we were all showing up and in it together, and that was really great. Exploring video, being able to have the time to explore cinematography more was awesome. A lot more video editing. I spent a lot more time on the computer practicing my video editing. I think I've just been in a state of learning this last year, like a lot of information and knowledge coming in a lot of different ways, even like from car maintenance to finance to like video editing to lead guitar playing. Just been a sponge, I think, has been the therapy for me.
I was doing a little internet stalking on you, as you can tell, on Instagram, and I found this sweet photo of you and your dad. I think you found some time to go to his home and did some filming and live streaming with your dad. Is that?
Yeah, that's adorable. He looks so sunburnt right there. I think it might have been a light thing, but yeah, that was great. We do that a lot. And actually there's a video on the YouTube channel. If you guys go check out like the latest video uploads on YouTube, that I am making a project called the B-Sides, and it's recording my audio and video of my dad in his shop, because he's a horse trainer and he builds saddles and repairs everything. I think any farmer and rancher develops that ability early on. So I put him in his element, and then I've got a single mic and a single camera and single light, like as simple as we could make it. And we put out one song, which is There You Go by Johnny Cash, which is a little more obscure tune. And that's what I'm going down there next week. And I'm going to do a little more of that with my dad. So, like I said, I grew up with him playing guitar around the house, and then he never really started playing out or playing live. He always noodled around the house. And a handful of years ago, I moved in with them in New Mexico, and dad was still noodling around the house. And now I was a full-time touring musician. And I was like, why don't you come out on my set break and play these Johnny Cash tunes? He's like, no, I can't do that. And I'm like, no, Dad, it'll be cool. And so my godmother, my mom, and I pitched in and got him a Martin acoustic electric that he could actually plug in. I think it's in my hands in this picture. We got him that guitar. And so he had no excuses. He could come out and plug his guitar in. And when he did, people went crazy. And he's such a showman. Like, he's been showing and training horses and teaching, and he's such a ham, just like me. So you would think has been doing it his whole life. He's just so natural up there and so funny and charismatic. So I started playing drums behind him, like a kick, hi-hat, and snare, with all these Johnny Cash tunes, like, and singing harmony with him. And we call ourselves Pops and the Pearl Snaps.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing a comment off of Facebook that you gave him a looper for Christmas. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Is there a story behind that too? How did he take to it?
Oh, I don't know. I gave it to him and he noodled with it for a few days. I think he seems to get more inspired to play music when I'm down there, because he has a lot of horses in training, and my mother started a cat sanctuary down there on the ranch, so he's helping her with that a lot. And I think he plays music. He's more inspired when I get down there, so I'm sure I'll give him a swift kick in the ass when I get down there. Start using it more. But he's really good at picking picking out a melody of a song. Like he'll sit back and I'll be singing and he's kind of strumming along, and he'll have learned the melody by the time the second, like the solo comes around. He'll have lifted what I've been singing. So I thought to strengthen, you know, him, just for him to have fun and be more inspired, I was like, well, if you need somebody to play with, here's a looper. And you can jam out with yourself all day long, Dad. And
cool.
We'll see. I'll have to ask him actually if he's
see what the progress.
Yeah,
now that the world knows.
But yeah, next week we'll be doing definitely within the next month we'll do a live stream on Facebook from the ranch. So one just like that, again with my dad. And also I'm going to be filming and recording them so we can put out some more of these single videos on YouTube. And I'm kind of doing it through my Patreon page too. So driving down there and doing it, raising a little money for gas and stuff to get down there and record Dad. So if you're into it, guys.
Yeah, tell us what is a Patreon page for people that don't know.
So Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So it's a crowdfunding, a way to do crowdfunding for projects. Patreon's really special because you pledge on a monthly basis. So it really helps artists, instead of an artist just like freaking out and hustling and trying to raise the $10,000 that they set as their goal. This way you could give $1 or $5, $10, $100, whatever a month. And it goes towards keeping the artists, like subsidizing the artists living so that they can keep creating the art that you enjoy. So instead of the artist just like hustling and then they promise all these things to the people that gave them money, you get to be a little bit more on the inside. It's kind of like the backstage pass of, and there's lots of creators. It's not just musicians. There's cartoonists and just everybody you could possibly imagine on there. People that make Muppets, and but for me, I've just used it as a way to have a little bit deeper connection with the folks that want that deeper connection. And so sometimes I'll put out music videos with commentary and make fun of myself in the corner, which is so fun. And I gave them a little sneak peek at the language of music, because that's proprietary to the museum and to all the people in Southern California. But I just gave them a little sneak peek on Patreon. Yeah. So they always get just a little bit more than I can put out on social channels. And sometimes they even help me write. I'll be like, what do you guys think about a third verse here? And everybody take a stab, and a few people will comment and have some funny ideas. So it's a lovely way to collaborate with the
engage with your audience. And yeah, that's really cool.
Can I put should I say the thingy? Can I say the thingy, or is that the website?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Patreon.com/Tiffany Christopher.
I think BJ could put that in the chat too. BJ,
awesome.
I could put it in our show notes and on the chat. So
cool.
one more time for me, because sometimes things just go in one ear and out the other for me.
Patreon.com/Tiffany Christopher. There's about 53, 54 patrons right now, and it fluctuates. But I'm really trying to get up to 75. I've got a goal when we reach 75 to really start pumping, trying to get my stuff into TV and film a little more. And like, if I can reach 75, that'll really help me produce out a couple more tunes that I want to pitch to TV and commercials. So become a patron, you guys.
You could do it.
Yeah.
All right. I have a little game I wanted to play with you.
Oh, my.
I've never done this. We've never done this on Mom and Home.
Okay.
But out of everybody, I thought you would have the most fun. So it's a super simple little word association game. I'm sure you've played this before. And so I'm going to say a word, and then I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, no.
We're going to go. Okay. Ready?
Okay.
NAMM show.
David Schwartz.
Yes. Side note, thank you, David Schwartz, for introducing Tiff and I.
Yeah, introducing me to NAMM. Really.
Yes. We love you, David.
We love you, David.
All right, moving on. Ready? Green room.
I don't even, is this even weed? I don't know. That's why I paused. I was like, is this okay?
COVID-19.
House arrest.
Pineapple.
Bromelain.
Home.
Is where the heart is. That's not a word, but whatever.
That's right. Looper.
Let's see. Looper. First word. Acoustic.
Leather jacket. Come
Leather
on.
jacket. Joan Jett.
Springtime.
It's here.
Bedtime.
Never.
Colorado.
Has snow.
Beach.
In a week. These are not words.
Elementary school.
New job.
Music festival.
Coming soon.
Post office.
Obsolete. I don't know. This is like
Disneyland.
Mickey Mouse, I guess. That's all I got.
Camping.
RV.
Yeah. And last but not least, tequila.
No. Not anymore. I'll pass. Had enough.
Pass. Oh, thank you for being my
That's good.
first
I like
participant in
I
the
love
word
it.
association.
But we will have a margarita when I get there, though.
Sounds good. So what's next? You said you just bought a Sprinter van and you're going to do some driving and living and recording on the road?
Holy cow. Yes, I am actually in the journey to go to New Mexico and get it and then drive to see you and my friends in Southern California. So I haven't actually filled out the paperwork yet, but everything is in line and it's waiting for me. And I've been planning out like a YouTube show. I'm not exactly sure what the capsule is going to be yet. I like the idea of household hacks. I really love the idea of like saving people money, reducing our carbon footprint, helping, empowering individuals to be like, oh, I can do this myself. And also in the same realm, introducing them to my music and my message. And so all of that, I think, might be encapsulated in the RV. So it'll be kind of like van life / troubadour / household hacks and connection and adventure. So that'll all be coming down the pipe soon on YouTube, hopefully.
Awesome.
Yeah. And more music. I've really been opening things up. So I've got so many songs I wrote during COVID and that are like half finished. And I've got just tons of songs that people have heard me play at gigs and they're like, where can I get it? And I'm like, I haven't recorded it yet. I can't keep up. So in honor of all of the lovely listeners and fans, I'm going to start cranking out recordings soon. So that's the plan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the plan. Well, speaking of songs, I think you're going to share a little fun little one that you wrote related to the current state.
I've been holding on to this thing the entire time. I'm super prepared. Yes, this is one of the COVID songs. This is actually for the kiddies out there. It's or for even adults. It's to remind us to wash our hands for 20 seconds. So if you sing this at 120 beats per minute or whatever the BPM was. Hell, if you just sing it and you make it all the way through, you have definitely washed your hands enough. So here we go. Oh, here's the plan. We wash our hands to keep the germs away. Suds them up with soapy stuff 50 times a day. 20 seconds, doctors reckon, is the right amount. Don't touch your face or pick your nose. No fingers in your mouth. Ah! Guys, play with me, y'all. Here's the plan. We wash our hands to keep the germs away. Suds them up with soapy stuff 50 times a day. Don't forget about the thumb. That's it.
Tiffany, where can folks find out more information about you and what you're doing? TiffanyChristopher.com is a great place. Also, my Facebook music page, so facebook.com/Tiffany Christopher Music. I'll be doing a live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Facebook page. So if you guys want to come over and listen to me play piano and ukulele and guitar, I'll actually be literally right here. Awesome.
In my power V-neck white shirt. And then what else? The Patreon page, like I said, is a wonderful way to support. So patreon.com/Tiffany Christopher and youtube.com/Tiffany Christopher. That page right now has a bunch of live videos and that video that I did of my dad, which is super sweet. And the music videos that we've done thus far. So it's going to expand, though. I'm looking forward to putting a lot more energy into YouTube soon. So subscribe over there and you'll find out when I put out some more stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany. I just really enjoyed talking to you today. I can't wait to see you hopefully here
Yes.
in a couple of weeks. And thank you for all the music that you create and the work you've done with the museum and NAMM. And I'm proud to know you. So thank you.
Thanks, darling. This has been fun. Nice to meet you again, BJ. This is awesome.
Tiffany.
Way to go on flying all the screens around and stuff.
No, this is so much fun for me. I've discovered I've got wait.
High five.
Nope.
We got it.
There you go.
Oh yeah. High five.
Pa, pa, pa.
Yeah, you're doing wonderful things. Sorry I interrupted you. What you were saying?
No. It's as you were learning your video stuff, I'm trying to learn this type of video stuff too. It's been a wild ride for sure. So I'm glad I'm not alone.
Constant state of learning. Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Well, I guess with that, am I okay to take us out, Jillian?
I think so.
All right. What have we got on the horizon? Next week, we have Mr. Eric Whitaker, Grammy Award-winning composer, and also the mind behind the virtual choir. He's going to be sharing what that experience was like, bringing together amateur vocalists, professional vocalists, every type of vocalist from around the world together in this massive virtual choir experience. He's going to be with us next week, April 23rd at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And then following that, the very last Friday of April, April 30th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We've done a couple, if you've been paying attention to our calendar, you may notice that we've been switching out a few dates, just making sure everybody's events are able to line up. So we switched out. We were able to move Mr. Sugar Ray Rayford up to April 30th. He is a blues and soul singer, award-winning, former local here in my neck of the woods, Temecula, and San Diego. He has been all around the Southern California region. I believe he makes his home now and up in LA. I'm discovering his music as we speak right now, learning more about him in preparation for this upcoming event. He's going to be with us April 30th to talk about his career, his role in music, and what it's meant to his life. Other than that, there's so much more on the horizon. Go to our website, museumofmakingmusic.org, to find out more what's upcoming for Mom at Home. And until then, another big thank you to Tiffany, big thank you to Jillian for being part of today's program. We're so glad you could join us. Sorry we weren't able to get to everybody's questions. I did see that David Schwartz was watching, so hi David! Good to see you back here, and thank you so much for putting us in connection, in touch with Tiffany and making this happen. Other than that, until next time, everyone have a wonderful weekend. We hope to see you next time here at Mom at Home, and pay attention to the museum website. Our grand reopening is coming up mid-June, June 15th. We're going to be welcoming everybody back to the Museum of Making Music, and we want you to be there. So visit our website again for those details, and stay tuned. All right, take care, everyone. Have a safe weekend.